So welcome to my site, everybody. My name is Paul Smyers. I'm a real estate agent in the beautiful state of Virginia in the Shenandoah Valley. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about the difference between a price and value. We in this industry get to talk to a lot of people, a lot of money is involved, and we have to constantly look at prices of property on listings and so on. We have to consult with customers, we have to consult with people who want to sell their property, and we have to give them some kind of price. A price is very different from the value. And to make it a real simple parable here, let's say somebody says, you can have this 1 gram of gold for 2 cents. Well, the price is 2 cents, but the value is a lot more. So what I'm getting at is when people buy property, you buy something that costs a lot of money. And you can do the normal calculations that we all do. What's my home likely to sell for? What price am I going to put it at for sale? And we all know in this industry that sometimes we will set a price for a listing, and by God, it's sure enough, it sells for $50,000 over the asking. So obviously somebody feels that the value of that property is worth at least $50,000 more than the price. Now, to someone else it might not make a difference, or it might make a huge difference. But when we shop for property, if you're a buyer and you go looking for property, you can bring some value to a property that if you bring some extra skill, some knowledge, or something to a property that the seller of the property is not using, they're not taking advantage. For example, it could be a lot of things. It could be the zoning. It could be a structure on their property that's there just vacant. They don't know what to do with it. But someone could come in and say, hey, I know exactly what to do with that structure, and I can make money with that, you see? So when you buy a property, don't just think about the price. What you see on Zillow and whatever, forget all that stuff, because it's just a weird calculation. They try to do some automated thing, and it's never accurate. And especially in a rural area, you'll find that the actual price that a house sells for, it depends a lot on what type of property it is. It's very unique out in the countryside, and the time of year makes a big difference, and all that stuff. So it's very difficult. We find in this industry, we talk to people, sometimes I talk to people from out of town. They saw on Zillow this super property, it looks great. I've even done that myself. I have to check for clients. I do a lot of scouting, and I see some ad on Zillow, whatever, and it goes, well, there's that great price. Sounds like a great price. Well, what's the actual value of it, you see? If I go look at it, it's a 45-degree slope and it's all wooded and there's no septic tank allowed there. It's not worth whatever the cost is, you see? So the price you pay can go the other way. For example, you can see a property, let's say somebody who comes across a property, and I've done this myself, and you see, I love that structure. Maybe it's got a 2-car garage and they're not even using it, and you know that you got some friends, you can make that an insulated art studio, or you can put another level on the top, or all kinds of stuff. You have a creative input to what you buy, and that makes a huge difference. If you buy in a cul-de-sac where everything is the same and everybody's got a little shed, maybe one's a little larger and a little different color or whatever, you can have a little bit more predictability about it, and there's a lot of limitations for what you can do with a property like that. But when you go out into the countryside and you can find out a property, let's say you have a business that you got to store trucks, like it happens right out where I live. Right down the road there's an electrical company. They do all kinds of contracting, and they got these trucks with these big booms that go up and everything. And apparently they've lived there for a long time, and over the years their business became very successful, but they have all these trucks parked there, just crowded all there on the property, and I have more land here than they do, and I'm thinking, my goodness, you see, if you got a going concern like that, you got to park 10 trucks. you need some land, you see? So for some people, extra land is a damn nuisance. They gotta trim those trees, every storm is a problem, they got all kinds of stuff they gotta mow and weed whack and everything, they don't like it, you see? But you come there and say, well, I can have a farm here, I can have goats here, I'm gonna be making money here, and my dog can play here, my kids can play here, I'll build another shed back there. So what you bring to the table, think about it. What you pay for a property as a price. I paid the top dollar. I paid basically what their asking was here. I had to make a quick decision here. I said, bang and boom, I won't find anything like this. It's going to sell real fast. I got 3 days to make a decision. I did it. And I have no regrets whatsoever that I paid. I may have even paid $1,000 more. I don't even know. But it doesn't matter to me because I see I got so much value here. So again, this video I want to make about how to look at property when you look for it. Think about the many options that you have with the use of the property, and that's why I keep stressing over and over again, in Virginia and many parts of the country, there's already established zoning. You don't have to go to some HOA or town and get down on your hands and knees and beg for them to give you approval for a little chicken shack with 4 chickens and no roosters. And you don't have to do that in many parts of the country where it's traditional. There's already a chicken shack on the property, for example, or a dog pen, you see? So, again, think about the aspect of what you're going to bring to the table on the property that you buy. Because if you're just going to go there and say, hey, I'm going to slap my money down, I'm going to live in this cul-de-sac, and I'm going to work for some big mega corporation for 5 years, and then we're going to move and we're going to sell this property to some other sucker. I mean, that's the way people do it. I've seen those cul-de-sacs, believe me. I know people who live in them where, yeah, it's a corporate town. They structure the turning radius and the cul-de-sac so that the big moving trucks can get in there, and you know, you got a fancy $1 million home, and then there's 50 feet away there's another fancy $1 million home, and all the grass has to be mowed a certain level and all that stuff. You see, I've seen that. But bring to the table something different and unique. You can rebuild your property, you can add to it, there's so many options. There's certain kinds of housing and structures that you can build, like a brick ranch. There are types of housing modifications and characteristics that you can add to your property, such as a gazebo, or a nice deck, or a screened-in porch, or a water fountain, or something, a chicken shack. Because, again, I get back to this issue of bringing something to the table besides your dollar bills and your credit rating, because you go into a property thinking, not just I'm going to make a few dollars, a few percentage over years, maybe I'll get 5%, maybe in 10 years I'll sell for a $100,000 property. Not that kind of equity kind of building. Think about making the property pay. You can have an office in there. Nowadays it's so easy, it's so common out there to work in an office on your own property. I do it all the time. I've done that for many, many years. I have a little office building here in the property I'm at now, and I can set it up like a studio. So think about that when you go to the property to make these videos short. Bring something to the table, because when you go to bid and you sign that contract where I'm going to pay X number of dollars for many, many years, you can sign it very confidently, knowing that as soon as I sign it, man, I'm going to have an art studio, I'm going to rebuild this thing, I'm going to fix up the bathrooms, I'm going to have a garden, I'm going to do this and that and the other thing, and in 10 years this property is going to be shining like an amazing thing, and everybody will drive by and will say, wow, I don't know what they did to that place, but see, try to make your property not boring. Believe me, us real estate agents, we look at a lot of property, new construction, sometimes I just shake my head, okay, I see another one of these new houses with this, that, and the other thing, and chandeliers and 12-foot ceilings and stuff like that. So again, make these videos short. Please like and share the content. I love to hear comments from people about their experience in buying homes and what they did. Did you ever modify a house? I knew somebody who lived in a temporary kitchen for 10 years. Her husband was taking his property that was like a modular home, and he was building a Victorian out of it. It took him 15, 20 years, and they never finished it. So a little humor about the subject, but think about this for a minute. What are you going to bring to the table when you buy your property? Are you going to go in there and say, honey, oh my God, what did we do? I signed this 30-year mortgage, and oh my God, what? Or are you going to go in there and say, man, I'm getting up tomorrow morning and lickety-split, I'm going to make this property better every single day that I'm here. That's the attitude you got to have. So thanks again for listening. Like and share. Appreciate it. Got a little sense of humor here. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks.